Welcome to this free immigration help channel. Today is July 12th, 2023, and we are getting into the volume 137 of me answering your immigration related questions. As you can see, I have all your comments pulled up in front of me. As always, before beginning this video, I'm gonna mention, as I mentioned in every video on this channel, I am not an immigration attorney. This is not a legal advice. All the information provided in these videos on this channel are directly from official government sources, like, of course, USCIS and the Department of State. So let's start with the very first question comment from Bitro0000. When can I apply for the travel documents with pending asylum? Bitro, thank you very much for the question. That's a really good question. So technically, you can apply for the travel document, although you will be applying for advanced parole, because technically a pending asylum status is not considered per se a legal immigration status. It is, you are remaining in the country legally, but at the same time, it does not give you any kind of legal status in the country. Keep that in mind. With that being said, you have to be really careful, and a lot of immigration attorneys that I personally dealt with, they advise strongly against traveling, unless you're traveling within the United States or US territories. But in general, if you are in pending asylum, leaving the United States, not recommended. And even with the granted asylum status, a lot of times you will hear, if you do your research online, from, there's a lot of attorney websites out there that do not recommend traveling even with granted asylum status. Of course, it is not just not recommended, it is completely, a big no-no to travel back to the country where you came from. Obviously, that should go without saying. But even just traveling around the world, why? Again, because you are requesting the travel document from the USCIS, and basically that travel document is kind of permission for you to enter the United States, but still at the discretion of Customs and Border Protection. So if you're traveling outside of the United States, expect to have some questions asked at the CBP, and a lot of times we don't want to put ourselves in those situations. So if you are traveling because there is an emergency, because you have to, that's a whole different story. Yes, in that case you can, but in your situation, because you're a pending asylum, you would have to apply for advanced parole, because the refugee travel document is only for those with granted asylum status. But keep in mind that you might have some questions asked whenever you're returning back and trying to enter the United States of America. But you would apply the same way as you normally would. It's the I-131 application for travel document. So I'm gonna post my response here, and we're gonna move on to the next comment from Shinuda Bekit. Shinuda, thank you very much for another question. Appreciate it, and also appreciate your being publicly subscribed. So Shinuda says, hi again. As for traveling, I mean travel to Mexico or any other country that allow US green card holders to travel by plane and with only the green card. Is it okay or not? Shinuda, again, I'm going to repeat my answer. You cannot air travel without a passport. You have to have a valid passport. It doesn't matter if it's a US passport, it doesn't matter if it's foreign passport, but in order to air travel, regardless whether the country allows the entry with the green card or without the green card, you have to have the passport. The exception would be if you're traveling by a car and you're crossing the border. I don't know Mexico, but I know for a fact that you can enter Canada with the green card and without a passport, without a valid passport, because I've done it myself. So I know from a personal experience. Again, it's been a while, probably like 5 years ago, so it might have been changed. So you better check yourself. But whenever it comes to air travel, regardless wherever you're going, unless you're traveling within the United States, you do need to have a valid passport. And then I have a new question. In the green card application, how can I get my online account number? And I already have an account for USCIS site. Is the account number my mail or my password? Okay, so account number, the USCIS online account number is it's a weird number, because some of the people, and I had a few people on this channel who got it, and a whole bunch of people, they don't get it. Personally, whenever I was creating my USCIS online account, I never got that online account number. So if you did get it, usually once you create your USCIS online account, your online account number is sent to you to your email address. If you didn't get it, then it's fine. Just put none in or not applicable in the field, and that's fine. Some people get it, some people don't. I don't know what it depends on. Probably depends on, most likely, on the state where you're applying from, because it automatically kind of makes a decision where the application will be going to, which service center. Maybe that's just my guesswork. But let me post the answer here, and we're gonna move on to the next question. Comment from David Francis, 2412. Good night. Just informing you, I got my interview letter. Thanks for all the help. Appreciate it. IR5 category. David, thank you for awesome news. Congratulations. Good luck with your interview. Let me know how the interview goes, because I definitely will be really excited for you to finally get that immigrant visa and come into the United States. That's awesome. Okay, moving further to the next question from Monica Pierre, 7819. Good evening. Could you help me, please? I cannot understand the visa bulletin. I am in the F11, so F1 for first preference category. I am qualified. Great. My case is at NVC. Chargeability is St. Lucian. Interview location Barbados. Priority date June 19, 2015. When can I expect my interview? Will I get my interview this year? Thanks in advance. All right, Monica, let's take a look at the visa bulletin. So since you are already documentarily qualified, your F1 and your priority date is in June 2015. Let's take a look at the visa bulletin. Graph A, all chargeability areas. So your June 2015. And right now we are looking at December 2014. So that means you're about 6 months, roughly about 6 months away from the availability of your immigrant visa. So I don't think you might not get, maybe there is still a chance, of course, for you to get the interview this year, but I'm thinking you're more realistically looking at the beginning of next year for your interview, because you still have 6 more months, judging by the visa bulletin, what we have right now, 6 months until the availability of the immigrant visa. Once your immigrant visa is available, then you're looking at another few months. It might be up to another 6 months for the interview to be scheduled with all the administrative processing. So yes, possibly very slim chance end of this year, but the beginning of next year, definitely you should be current. Hopefully nothing changes on the visa bulletin, but this is what you're looking at. This is what is current as of right now. So whenever you will be checking the next visa bulletin, make sure you're looking at this right here, all chargeability F1 graph A. And once you see June 2015, which technically should be in the next 6 months, but again, with visa bulletin, sometimes it moves, sometimes it doesn't move. You're subscribed to this channel, so once August visa bulletin comes out, I'll make a video on it, which should be coming out in the next few days, hopefully, and we will see what's the movement there. Okay, let me pause the answer, and we're gonna move on to the next question from RTC 1979. I just received a notification from the NVC regarding my expedited request. They stated they are sending it to the embassy for approval. Does that mean my expedited request may still be denied? RTC, that is very interesting. I appreciate your comment. I was not really aware that NVC asks US Embassy for the approval for the expedited processing. I would say yes, if they are sending the request itself for the approval, I would say it is possible that it might still be denied, but I think your chances of your expedited approval are, increased because NVC considered it and actually forwarded it to the embassy. So I think you're looking pretty good. Give it a little bit more time, and hopefully the U.S. Embassy, in the country where the interview is going to take place, considers it and approves it. Although most of the times I hear the response from NVC, whether they expedite it or not. It's really interesting why they sent it to the U.S. Embassy for the approval. It's a little bit weird. But yes, definitely let me know once you get the response from them. Please come back to this channel and update, because I'm sure everyone would be interested to hear, because it's kind of a unique situation. Okay, let me post the answer here, and we're gonna move on to the next comment from Mira Rugbeer 6690. Mira, thank you very much for being publicly subscribed. So Mira says, hi, thanks for your help. You're very welcome. I would like to know how to apply for a parole. My mom is a US citizen. She filed back in August 2010 for me, F3. So Mira, I'm assuming you're asking about the parole, since there was a recent update from Department of Homeland Security regarding few countries that have been added back, where they do now allow the parole, which was kind of removed temporarily earlier. Now it's added back, so great. But I will find the link for you. He should be right there, and here you go. It's at the very front of the USCIS, which is U.S. Citizenship and Immigration Services website, official government website. So here you go. In order to apply for the parole, there you go. This is the form I-134A, online request to be a supporter and declaration of financial support. Here you go. So this is the form that you're gonna be sending to your mom. But I would do, just in case, I would do your research on this and make sure, because as you can see, there's a lot of programs that are involved with the I-134A, and that's Ukraine, that's Cubans, Haitians, Nicaraguans, Venezuelan, or family reunification parole processes, which I think this is what is going to be applicable to you. But this is the page. It's available to, the application itself is available to be filed online, which makes it much easier, much faster. Keep in mind, right now there's a large volume of applications that are coming in, so it might take a little bit extra time to process. But since you are waiting, you might as well take advantage of this, because if you can wait within the United States, being here reunited with your mother, obviously it's much better than being outside of the United States and waiting for your I-130 petition to be processed or complete. Okay, let's move on to the next question, comment from Ipoli Masango 2441. Thanks very much, sir, for answering my question. You're very welcome. I'm in old chargeability area. My sister filed in 2009, as I said earlier. So how long am I to wait for my interview? Thanks, sir. Epoli, thank you very much for clarifying. Yes, so let's take a look at the visa bulletin. I'll look at the graph A because it's been quite a while already, since it's 2009. So I'm pretty sure it should be very close to being current. And looks like F4, which is, sister filing, petitioning for sibling. It's only U.S. citizen can petition for sibling, brothers and sisters of adult U.S. citizens. That's forced preference category. And as of right now, as of July 2023, visa bulletin, that's what we have, the most recent. It is April 2007. Priority date back in April 2007. They are now becoming current, and the immigrant visa is becoming available. So, since you were in 2009, you are roughly looking, depending on which month in 2009, you are roughly looking at another 2 years before the availability of the immigrant visa. Again, it's a rough estimate because, things might slow down, things might speed up. It's very important to stay on top of the visa bulletin and keep checking it. Every month the new visa bulletin comes out. We should see the new one for August 2023 very soon. So if you're not subscribed to this channel, make sure to subscribe, because once it comes out, I will be making a separate video on it, comparing the previous visa bulletin and the most recent one, and discussing what has changed, whether it was a good change or if it went back. Okay, let's move on to the next question, comment from Jacob Hassan 2321. How long will it take to get approved I-485? Just submit it without waiting 1 year in Florida. Jacob, thank you very much for your question, and I appreciate your comment. I'm gonna take a look right now at the processing times, but I wanted to ask you for a favor. If your application is accepted and processed, please come back to this channel and let me know, and I'm sure everyone will be interested to hear if it actually worked, because I have heard you're not the first one that I hear from that you don't have to wait for a whole year now with a granted refugee or granted asylee status before applying for the adjustment of status. Personally, I haven't heard any official sources about this news, so if it actually is the case, I would really appreciate the update on it. But we're gonna take a look at the processing times at USCIS website, because that's where your I-485, that's who's responsible for processing it. We're gonna go to tools, we're gonna go to case status online, and you can check your case status here with your receipt number, but we're gonna go to the USCIS processing times information, visit page, form I-485, which is application to register permanent residence or adjust status from category. And I'm assuming, since you said, and again, you see here, even here it says based on grant of asylum more than 1 year ago, based on refugee admission more than 1 year ago. So even here it says that you wait for a whole year. So unless you're applying for family-based or employment-based, but I don't think you are, because you're mentioning that you did not wait for a full year. So for the purpose of this video, let's take a look at asylum more than 1 year ago and get the processing times for that. So as you can see, roughly about 30 months processing time. Let's check for refugee and see if it's the same. I think it should, well, it's a little bit less actually. And then for family preference, family-based adjustment applications, there's a field office in pretty much every state, and then different cities in every state. So this is going to be hard. But you said you filed it from Florida, so let's select one in, I think there is one in Tampa, Florida, which is I think the biggest one we have here in Florida, and it's about 15 months. So depending on which category you're applying from, you will have a different, obviously, processing times for that. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna post a response, and I'll give you the link for the processing times page. And if you want, you can come back to this channel and let me know which category, and I can take a look the same way I just did. Just make sure, and that goes for everyone who's watching this video, if you're posting a response, if you have an additional comment, please make sure not to respond to my comment within your comment, because YouTube does not send me those notifications for whatever reason. I don't know why. Just submit it as a separate comment under this video or whichever video on this channel, and I will see it on this wall. Okay, moving further to the next comment, question from Blossom Robinson 8507. I sent a message in May about my filing for my adult children since June 19, 2027. Their application is in Vermont, maybe 2017. Their application is in Vermont. You told me by August I should get an approval, but watching the processing times, it scares me. It's like it's going backwards. Blossom Robinson, unfortunately that's the case most of the times, especially whenever it comes with the family reunification, family immigration in general. Processing times, they seem to be only increasing, especially whenever you're in one of the family preference categories, which sounds like it is the case for your children because they're adult children. So if it's adult children, and the best thing, here's the best thing for you to do. Let me know the chargeability area, let me know the family preference category, and then the priority date. And I will take a look at the visa bulletin and let you know what it is looking like. But again, you're correct in saying that it seems like it is moving backwards, and it is in fact the case. Why? Because the issue itself has never been fixed. The reason why we have backlog is the reason because the system was set up initially. It was a bad decision, I guess, by Congress. I guess I can say that. I don't know if I should say that, but I think it was a terrible decision to implement the visa cap on family immigration, basically limiting the amount of immigrant visas that are available each year. And that's why we have backlog, because we have more applications that are coming in, more applications than there are available immigrant visas each year. And this extra amount of applications that didn't have the available immigrant visas this year, they roll over to the next year. And then the same happens next year, and obviously the amount of the backlog, it keeps on growing. So that's why sometimes you look at the visa bulletin like we had, I think it's June 2023 was like that. When we looked at the June 2023 visa bulletin after May, and there was absolutely no change, which there should be at least 1 month movement, but no, there was nothing. So again, let me know the chargeability area, let me know the family preference category and the priority date, and I will take a look at the visa bulletin and give you some rough estimates. They are rough because, again, it's visa bulletin, sometimes it doesn't move. The new one is coming out in August 2023. Well, the new August 2023 visa bulletin is coming out soon, hopefully in the next, I would say, week. Maybe new few days. Usually it comes out by the middle of the previous months. So we will see what the movement is like on August 2023 visa bulletin. Okay, let's move on further to the next comment question from MXFern12. Thank you for being publicly subscribed. Really appreciate it. Hi, for second time NVC asks for W2 and 1099. I am self-employed and have none of those. I provided bank statement, everything is accepted, and don't know what to do to satisfy that NVC email. Any suggestions would be appreciated. Okay, MXFern, so if you're self-employed, then you have to have the 1099s, because you work as a self-employed, right? You do the contract work for whoever. As long as you make more than $600 in a year, and I don't take my word for it, I think it's around $600. I think they might have changed. It's I'm not very good with like tax, IRS, all that sort of stuff. But I am also self-employed, so I know exactly how that works. I think it's over $600. If somebody pays somebody for contract work over $600 in a year, they have to file a 1099, and they have to send the 1099 to the IRS, and they have to send the 1099 to the contract worker that they employ. So you had to have, unless you make less than $600 a year, which obviously it's probably impossible to survive on that these days in the United States, at least, unless I don't know your style of living. But realistically, if you're saying that you're self-employed, then you are living off of self-employment. And that's more than $600. So you should have your 1099s that you have to show to IRS each year when you're filing taxes. So you should have your tax returns, you should have your 1099s. Yes, you're not going to have W2s because you're not on the payroll, but 1099 you should have. So I would recommend reaching out to a CPA, to a certified accountant. I don't know what CPA stands for, but a certified accountant who will take a look in your situation, take a look into your taxes, and then probably need some explaining to do for you to figure out what's going on with your situation, because you definitely should have, if you're self-employed, you should definitely have the 1099s. That this is what the NVC is asking, and that's really the only way for you to show that you are making income, because if you don't have that, then you can report your income and you won't be able to be a sponsor for the person that you are petitioning for. Okay, so let me post the answer here, and we're gonna move on to the next question from Giolito Mendoza. Sir, how about F31? So that's third preference category. Any update for this? Okay, Giolito, so let's take a look. Depending on which chargeability area that you are from, we're gonna look at the graph A, final action dates, to see the full length of the backlog on the availability of the immigrant visa. So for third preference category, for all chargeability area, right now we're looking at December 2008. So people with the priority date back in December 2008, as of right now, July 2023, their immigrant visas, their priority dates are becoming current, so their immigrant visas are becoming available. For China, it's also December 2008. For India, it's also December 2008. For Mexico, it is much longer. There's another 10 years on top of it. It's January 1998, which honestly is crazy to think about. And then Philippines is extra 6 years. It's June 2002. So if you want, let me know your chargeability area. I know already your family preference category, but still let me know so that I don't forget it. And then the priority date, and I'll take a look at the visa bulletin and give you some rough estimates. Okay, posting my response here and moving further to Ali EQ6CR. Hi sir, F21, visa category, documentarily qualified, June 2022. My priority date, March 2017. Please tell me how long to interview call. Okay, so let's take a look. So F21, that's a second family preference category, and that's, you know, permanent residence is F2A because it's F21, so it's in F2A. So we're gonna take a look at the graph. Actually, you know what? F21 might be F2B as well, and I think based on documentarily qualified and priority date is in March 2017. So March 2017, I'm thinking you're in F2B and not the F2A, unless you are in a different chargeability area. So Ali, if you can, let me know the chargeability area, because let me know if it's F2A or F2B, and let me know the chargeability area. Let me know the priority date as well in a separate comment, and I'll take a look and do some rough estimates for you, because I do need a little bit more information to give you the rough estimates. Okay, moving further to the next one from Yaing Sim. Hi, I haven't it in, but no kind of legal status. I want to work in the US. How do I apply for a work authorization card? Okay, thank you very much for the question. So whenever it comes to applying for the employment authorization document, you do have to have some kind of status that allows you. It's either the visa, some kind of work visa, whether it's non-immigrant or immigrant work visa, or some kind of legal immigration status that allows you to legally work in the United States of America before you can apply for the employment authorization document. So you can find all of that information if you look at the instructions in this video. You will see the page for USCIS, the form I-765. Check out the instructions for form I-765, and there you will see all of the eligible basically categories, you know, the immigration statuses that allow you to legally work in the United States. But you do have to have basically the employment authorization. It depends on your status. You can't just apply for it. You have to be eligible for it before applying. Okay, so let me post the answer here, and we're gonna move on to the next question comment from Jeru Halal. Hello dear, my question is, my case sent to NVC and priority date is 9 September 2019 and sent to NVC July 2, 2023. Okay, so just recently. Awesome, like 10 days ago. So what are the next steps, and what do you think how long it will take to finish for F2B I-130? Okay, so it's already sent to the NVC. Let me take a look at the graph B to see when the portal is going to be open, or if it is already open. So we're going to look at the graph B right now, January 2017, priority dates for which the NVC portal opens up. So you are in 2019. Okay, so you're roughly looking at another 2 years, might be less, before the NVC portal fully opens so that you can start your documentary qualification process. And then you are looking at another roughly 4 years, not then, but from now, you're looking at another 4 years total for the availability of the immigrant visa for your priority date to become current, which is the graph A. That's what we're looking at, September 2015. In the meantime, I would recommend checking out the video that I have on this channel. It's called Documentarily Qualified, What Does It Mean? And in that video, I show the actual NVC portal that was already documentarily qualified. And from that video, you will be able to see exactly what you will need to do on the NVC portal once it opens up. And that's basically filling out the DS-260, the immigrant visa application form, the affidavit of support for, to show that you are a sponsor for, the beneficiary, paying a couple of fees for the affidavit of support for the TS-260, submitting some civil documents, and that's really it. That's everything that, documentary qualification involves. But if you can prepare as much as possible for it before the NVC portal fully opens up, once it's open, you will be able to just submit everything in few days and become documentarily qualified pretty quickly, and then just wait for your priority date to become current on the Graph B, and your immigrant visa to become available. Okay, so let me post the response here, and I think we are already done for today, because this is a question from Shinuda that has already been answered. Let me read through it really quickly. Hi again, as for traveling. Yep, so that was answered. I have a question, the green card application and line account. Okay, so that was already answered. So thank you very much, everyone, for all your questions today. As always, really appreciate your time. God bless, and I'll see you all in the next video.